Chappers, thanks very much indeed. I-ho Wolverhampton is echoing around. Molineux, barely a spare seat in the house, light blue sky above us, and the teams are out onto the field. Wolves in their old gold shirts, black shorts and black socks. United red shirts, white shorts and white socks. A huge orange banner with a wolf in the centre of it has gone across the Sir Jack Hayward stand away to our right hand side. Let's go through the starting 11s for you. Starting with the home side. In goal, they are unchanged from the opening day 0-0 draw at Leicester. Rui Patricio between the sticks. A back three: Ryan Bennett, Connor Cody, Willy Boly. They are the established order at the back for Wolverhampton Wanderers. The wing-backs are Matt Doherty and Johnny Otto. Into midfield, a three of Leander Dendoncker, Ruben Neves and João Moutinho. Up front, Diogo Jota and Raul Jimenez. What about Manchester United? One change to the side that thumped Chelsea on opening day. Andreas Pereira drops out. Daniel James starts his first Premier League game. So, in goal, David De Gea. The back four, right to left. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who impressed so much on debut at Old Trafford last weekend, as did Harry Maguire alongside Victor Lindelof. Luke Shaw is at left back. A midfield three then, McTominay still keeping Nemanja Matic on the bench. Jesse Lingard and Paul Pogba either side of him, you would expect, with Daniel James on the right-hand side and Martial and Rashford completing the front three. We're just about ready for kick-off. Wolves will be kicking from right to left towards the two-tiered Stan Cullis stand, and it is all set up perfectly for an entertaining night of Premier League football here, Chris Sutton.
Absolutely is. We're going to find out a lot about Manchester United tonight. The perfect start against Chelsea, but can they back it up?
Kick-off just seconds away, and it'll be Raul Jimenez, who gets things underway, and away we go. Roll back to Ruben Neves, who immediately tries to play a diagonal ball towards the corner of that Manchester United penalty area. It's Luke Shaw that got the ball clear initially, and straight away on the counter-attack is Marcus Rashford. He tried to find the feet of Anthony Martial without success. It looks like Martial has started as centre forward, as he did against Chelsea in the opener at Old Trafford, with Rashford to his left, and here's a first touch and his first start for Daniel James. Remember, he scored just 7 minutes after coming onto the field against Chelsea last weekend to make it 4-0, and those pictures of a delighted young Welshman as he ran towards the Stretford end. What a moment that was for him. United in possession, the way to our left-hand side. Lindelof rolls it to the touchline, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. United spending £130 million on defenders. Here's Harry Maguire, the world's most expensive defender. What did you make of his debut against Chelsea, Chris?
Oh, look, I think he's an outstanding buy. I think Wan-Bissaka, as well as started nicely in a United shirt. What United need at the club, and certainly at the back, is stability, and I think they've got that now with Harry Maguire, an all-rounder, England's best centre-half.
Well, Johnny Otto has left that ball a little short of Connor Cody, who then slid in to dispossess Marcus Rashford, and as Anthony Martial's gone down under a heavy challenge 10 yards outside the Wolves penalty area, but no free kick. John Moss is our referee today, and here's Willy Boly.
Good challenge, wasn't it, from Connor Cody. Martial took a touch and Cody timed it perfectly.
Otto down the left-hand side to Raul Jimenez, but it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the United right back, who gets the challenge in, and now it's Scott McTominay, who put United into the lead in the Premier League game here towards the end of last season. Wolves roared back to win 2-1. They also won within 3 weeks an FA Cup quarter-final here against United by the same score. The sides drew 1-1 at Old Trafford, so Wolves unbeaten in all three games against United last season. They had a terrific record against the Big Six. Halfway inside the Wolves half, right-hand side, it's Jesse Lingard with a flick to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is a confident figure. Daniel James is dispossessed, though, by Willy Boly. It breaks back to Paul Pogba on the right. On the halfway line is Lindelof, and he rolls it across to Harry Maguire. He's just going to have his first venture into Wolves territory. Side-footed pass to Luke Shaw, who's stationary, finds Anthony Martial, who miscontrols, and Wolves can bring the ball away, who haven't threatened so far. And Johnny Otto keeps the ball in play on the left-hand side. He's past Daniel James, but he runs into Aaron Wan-Bissaka. who looks to the manner born at right back for Manchester United, and now Jesse Lingard just slowing things down for the visitors.
Yeah, it's interesting. This game is going to pan out because both sides clearly like to counter-attack United's pace, which they have up top, but as Wolves just sitting in that 5 across the back, making it difficult. 3 disciplined Wolves midfielders looking to soak it up and hit United on the break.
Wolves only had 30% of the possession at the King Power Stadium against Leicester City in that goalless draw. They thought they'd taken the lead, but a goal ruled out via VAR for a handball in the build-up to it. Here's Paul Pogba just spinning on the edge of the centre circle in United's half. Terrific atmosphere at Molineux. United's fans on the far side in the Steve Bull stand. It's a super ball by Rashford across field to Daniel James. Such a confident figure. He was roughed up a little bit by Moussa Sissoko in a pre-season game in Shanghai, but responded really well. Lingard beaten by Ruben Neves on the edge of the penalty area, but the ball breaks to Paul Pogba, and it is a very cagey opening. Both sides, as Chris said, who like to counter-attack. Nuno Espirito Santo, the Wolves manager, on the edge of his technical area, doing the double teapot at the moment, given away by Lindelof to Neves, but there was nothing much happening ahead of him in terms of a run from the likes of Jota or Jimenez, so he had to go back, and United have the ball back once again.
But what Wolves do have, they have really mobile front men, and you can see that Shaw and Wan-Bissaka both like to get on. Wolves will be looking to exploit Lindelof and Maguire down the sides.
Pogba towards Martial, edge of the penalty area. Another poor first touch from Anthony Martial, who scored last week against Chelsea. Rashford managed to get 2 goals, one of which was from the penalty spot. It's an untidy clearance by Patricio. Throw into United on their left-hand side, halfway inside the Wolves' half. Taken by Shaw, gets it back from Rashford. Looking for Martial on the corner of the penalty area, but it's cleared by Connor Cody, who, interestingly, was a former teammate of Harry Maguire. They played a season together at Sheffield United when Cody was on loan from Liverpool. That's a little shove in the back by Johnny Otto on Daniel James. Free kick to United on the touchline on the right-hand side, taken quickly by Wan-Bissaka to find his centre-back Victor Lindelof. John Moss in charge today. Paul Tierney is the man in charge of VAR at the Premier League Match Centre.
It was all going so well on Saturday, wasn't it? It was all going so well until the Etihad late on.
The Gabriel Jesus curling effort. The Etihad went completely bonkers. And then Michael Oliver was seen striding towards the penalty area. There's the telltale square signal, and the goal was chalked off under the new IFAB regulations, rightly so.
VAR getting the blame.
Yep. Martial putting some pressure here on Connor Cody, who did very well to relieve the danger. And Ruben Neves, though, with an awkward situation inside his own penalty area, turns well. Lovely backflip by Jimenez to find Jota, but he's dispossessed by Wan-Bissaka. We're going to hear that sentence a lot, I think, this season. The former Crystal Palace man, a £50 million signing, who was playing for the Palace under-23s 18 months ago. Now the starting right back for Manchester United, and it's played directly out of play by United for a Wolves throw in their right back area.
Whether United paid over the odds for Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, what they have got is 2 very fine players who've settled in so far pretty well. They'll be tested tonight.
Ruben Neves nods it forward, an acrobatic flick by Paul Pogba, but United have it back again through McTominay, who's making that position, the holding midfielder position in the middle of those 3 in the centre of the park for United, his own at the moment. Here's Daniel James on the right-hand side. He has Wan-Bissaka available. He was tripped, or was he, by Ruben Neves. No free kick, says John Moss, and we play on. And here comes Diogo Jota, and now Jimenez. And it's a sliding attempted challenge by Lingard, which wasn't very good. And it's still Jimenez, and he finds Doherty on that right-hand side. Across to meet him is Shaw. It cannons off his left knee, and it's a corner kick in front of the colours stand for Wolverhampton.
Well, the United players are surrounding John Moss, the referee, and saying, Daniel James, he should have had a free kick. I'm not so sure. I thought he may have dived. But great feet, wasn't it, on the edge of the area? Dancing feet. The ball popped out to Doherty, and the ball crossed in and behind, and Wolves, they will be a threat, you'd think, from set plays.
João Moutinho takes the applause of the crowd away in that corner in between the Steve Bull stand and the stand colours. He's going to take this corner right-footed, curling it out. Johnny is available 15 yards on the corner of the penalty area, but he swings it in. The heads go up. It's Harry Maguire who wins a commanding header, and it's now with Connor Cody just inside the Wolves half, and he rolls it to Ruben Neves, and it's a first-time right-footed ball that goes high into the Wolverhampton sky, and it's nodded down by Luke Shaw. Here come United on the counter-attack, and it's Daniel James down the right-hand side approaching the penalty area, getting booed by the Wolves fans after what they believe was a dive. The attempted low cross is repelled by Neves, and Manchester United have their first corner, and we're just starting to see the game become a little bit stretched for the first time.
That's right. Well, that was a Wolves corner. United broke out to good effect, and Daniel James driving, but Johnny winning the corner. If he did dive, and it did look like he did, and he's got to cut that out of his game, the earlier one.
Where was the yellow card then, if that was the case as well?
Agreed.
Luke Shaw trots across to take this corner kick, left-footed. It'll be an in-swinger, voted United's Players' Player of the Year last season. It's a deep service towards the back post. The heads go up. It was Cody that got there, just ahead of McTominay. And United will have a throw-in on the far side there, left, halfway inside the Wolves half. Marcus Rashford will leave it for Luke Shaw, who, having taken the corner, now jogs across to take a throw-in on the United left-hand side. Beautiful night for football in this final game of the second round of matches. Blue, purplish sky above us, still, temperate, absolutely lovely, and the flags on the top of the Steve Bull stand hanging limply on their flagpoles. Luke Shaw will try this one again. He'll just be marched back a couple of yards by John Moss for the throw-in. Paul Pogba trying to make some space. Wolverhampton Wanderers well organised, but Pogba takes it under control with his right foot. Then he invites Wan-Bissaka into the attack, and he immediately sprints forward in possession towards the right corner of the penalty area, rolls it back for Jesse Lingard. Now Daniel James, I think you're going to know when he's on the ball with the boos coming from the Wolverhampton Wanderers fans. A flick by Wan-Bissaka didn't find Lingard, but United have it back through Paul Pogba.
He recovered really well, Wan-Bissaka. Little flick, let it go, and then recovered. And we're going to see Shaw and Wan-Bissaka get a lot of the ball. United quick switches of play against Wolves. Back five. And we're looking to cause them problems in those wide areas.
Wan-Bissaka again, and it's Lingard looking to flick the ball round the corner against Willy Bolly. And it's a heavy challenge by Lindelof, but a good one against Jimenez, but then he gives the ball away straight to Ryan Bennett. And there are brief flickers of quality out on the field here at Molineux, but there are plenty of mistakes in the early stages as well.
It was an important challenge from Lindelof from that flick from Jimenez, because Jota was the other side of Wan-Bissaka and would have been in, and that's what they look to do, Wolves. Look to counter quickly.
Foul on Scott McTominay. Free kick to Manchester United, just outside the centre circle in the Wolves half. And Harry Maguire is going to take it. Daniel James just trotting in off the right flank. Asked before the game about James's selection, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says he's got that X factor of pace, and when you put Martial and Rashford, the front three, together, that is a frightening amount of speed at their disposal. It's Lindelof who takes it, a very flat delivery towards the advancing Harry Maguire on the left-hand side of the penalty area, but he goes straight out of play for a goal kick.
Well, you see things like that in a pub game on a Sunday. That really was dreadful. A professional footballer. I mean, that was awful, wasn't it? Yeah. How inaccurate can you be from a free kick? And there was the answer.
Patricio sends it down the right-hand side. Wolverhampton Wanderers not interested in the centre-back splitting inside the penalty area to play the ball out from the back. Not on that occasion, anyway. It's a real mark of the early stages of the Premier League season. The likes of Norwich City going to Anfield and doing it. Leicester doing it at Chelsea yesterday.
But why should Wolves change what was successful for them last season. It's more of the same, and there's that switch, quick switch. Lovely volleyed pass from Pogba to the right-hand side to Lingard.
And Lingard has spotted the run of Pogba into the penalty area, the right-hand side of that penalty area, but Conor Cody was across brilliantly to not only nip it off his toes, but then to send the ball down the line, and eventually it's a throw-in, much to the disappointment of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, to Wolverhampton Wanderers, 15 yards short of the halfway line on their left-hand side. Johnny will take it. Chris mentioned last season, a 7th place finish for Wolves. The highest finish for a promoted side since Ipswich Town finished 5th in 2000-2001. They qualified for Europe for the first time since 1980-81. They travelled to Torino for Thursday's first leg of the Europa League playoff. The following Thursday, the second leg here. If they win through that tie, they're into the group stages. 57 points was their best ever Premier League tally. This is a club that were in League One as recently as 2013-14. So their rise up the leagues to become, it's a bit early to say, but an established Premier League club has been swift.
Yeah, I think sitting here now, their second season back in the Premier League, I think it's safe to say Wolves are a side who, aren't going to be anywhere near the relegation zone. I suppose you couldn't say that of too many sides on their second season.
14 minutes in, 0-0. Wolves against Manchester United. The ball is back with Rui Patricio. He was tempted to play the first time pass out to Willy Boly, who has split out to this left-hand side, but Patricio...
United are 3 for 3 there. They're pushing the 3 forwards onto the Wolves centre-backs and saying, kick it, and Harry Maguire will deal with it, just as he did then.
It was interesting at Old Trafford, Chris, last week when Harry Maguire... We'll get to that in a minute. Here's Diogo Jota. Was he pulled back? Yes, by Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba looks to be gesticulating towards John Moss. Something to do with the yellow card? What was he thinking of there?
I think he was with his finger saying, no, that wasn't a foul. And then he high-fives Jota in the process.
Clearly
the soft one. There was a little tuck, yep. Disrupted Jota.
And Wolves have a free kick 20 yards outside the Manchester United penalty area, and the right foot of João Moutinho will send it towards that penalty area. Jota is the furthest man back. Bennett's made a terrific run round the back, but it's Harry Maguire who gets the header clear. Ruben Neves miscues his shot, but it turns out quite nicely for him. He found Diogo Jota in the penalty area, but he's ruled to have fouled Scott McTominay, and United have a free kick inside their own penalty area, just to the right-hand side. And David De Gea, who we barely mentioned his name aside from the reading out the Manchester United 11, he places the ball down with his bright yellow boots on and his purple goalkeeping outfit. And here's Lindelof to Wan-Bissaka, infield to Paul Pogba. He's been put under some pressure by Jimenez, but he finds Rashford. That's a little loose from Marcus Rashford. Moutinho got a challenge in, but it pops out to Lindelof, and he gives the ball away to Diogo Jota on the left-hand side. Wan-Bissaka is back, tussling with him, and that's what he does absolutely brilliantly. A sliding challenge, pinpoint accuracy by Wan-Bissaka.
I think that's his strength. I do. 1v1. He's as good as anybody. He really is. He's got that athleticism and gets back very well.
Well, he's called the Spider, Chris, isn't it? Those long limbs, but he times his challenges so beautifully. Here's Conor Cody, diagonal ball. He was, well, I think aiming for Leander Dendoncker, who hadn't said his name either. Missed him anyway. United have possession back. Edge of their own penalty area. Victor Lindelof. The floodlights just starting to shine a little brighter against that hazy light blue sky. It's darkening by the minute. Moutinho, Jimenez down the left-hand side to Diogo Jota, approaching the side of the penalty area. There's the square ball towards Neves. It was well read by Luke Shaw, who hammers it clear with his left foot.
That was a massive waste for Wolves, and when talked about it earlier, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw get really high early. Wolves nick the ball high up. They're in behind that right-back area of United, and they didn't make the most of that. Loaded the box, really poor cross.
David De Gea just passes it short to Harry Maguire, and at Old Trafford last week Maguire had a really good debut, but the United fans enjoyed and lauded him for just doing basic centre-back work. Big towering headers, big clearances. They were cheering every one of them. Lovely bit of skill by Rashford on the Manchester United left. The cross comes in towards Martial. Oh, he was a yard from goal. Patricio was struggling. Wolverhampton Wanderers were struggling at the back. Willy Bolly may have got a touch on it. No, he hasn't. It's a goal kick. But that's the closest we've had to the opening goal so far. Martial at the back post.
Well, first of all, what a wonderful pass from Pogba. Right-footed into the channel for Rashford, who twists Bennett inside out, crosses the ball in. I think Martial's got to be braver and go with his head there. I think that's a golden opportunity for United. Dare I say it, a natural finisher, a natural striker would go with his head in that situation. Any contact from 2 yards, he scores. And I know he got a lot of credit for the goal against Chelsea. It was from close range, a poacher's goal, if you like, but United should be ahead.
The clearest opportunity yet here at Molineux. 18 minutes in, 0-0, Wolves and Manchester United. The ball is back with Patricio, left-footed clearance up and over the halfway line. Nice flick in field with the head of Dendoncker, but he doesn't find Jimenez. And here come United again between the lines, and it's Jesse Lingard. Behind him is Wan-Bissaka. Here he is in possession. Lingard tight to the right touchline, halfway inside the Wolves' half of play. Back into his own half to Lindelof. And he'll stroke it languidly to Harry Maguire in the centre circle. He's got Jimenez ahead of him, so he just invites Lindelof forward again in his short-sleeved Manchester United red shirt. And it's very cagey. There's no high press on, particularly from Wolverhampton Wanderers, so United have time to play it around at the back against a well-organised, well-drilled Wolves side. It's creating the space and finding those pockets of space between the lines that's going to be the challenge for Manchester United tonight. Lindelof back again to Harry Maguire. The first roar of United comes from the away fans who've travelled down the M6 from Manchester to Wolverhampton. Here's Wan-Bissaka, and he's got Jota ahead of him, but once again it's back to Lindelof and back to Maguire. Patient build-up by Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out in his very smart black United suit, shiny shoes, toes on the edge of the technical area, hands deep in his pockets. As United stroke the ball around the back line, but here's Harry Maguire now trying to commit one or two of those midfield players, and he finds Rashford. His flick towards Lingard doesn't find its mark. It's Bolly that gets it clear, only as far as Maguire, who gets it back from Luke Shaw.
They're so disciplined, aren't they? That Wolves 3 in the middle of the park. No real space in there.
Shaw with a run down that left flank for Manchester United, and sweeping across was Connor Cody. His clearance down the line is flicked on very well by Jimenez. Now what can Wolverhampton Wanderers do here? Not a lot. Dendoncker gives it straight to Wan-Bissaka when there was the possibility of a counter-attack. But there's a free kick, foul on Pogba, who's writhing around, clutching the lower part of his left leg. John Moss wasn't far away from that challenge. Free kick to United, 20 yards inside the Wolves half, just to the left-hand side. And as we're speaking, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has just trotted over to the touchline for a chat with one of the members of the United coaching staff, and he's getting some instructions down there. Paul Pogba's back on his feet, just flexing that left leg, but he appears to be okay.
It'll be interesting to see whether United tweak anything. The space is in the wide areas for United.
Wolves defending a yard or two maybe outside their penalty area. Maguire is the furthest man back, and he's the target. He leaps above Doherty. The Wolves fans behind the goal thought he was climbing. John Moss disagreed. Wolves bring it clear down the left-hand side through Jota, but he runs into Lindelof, and now it's Daniel James. The boos have subsided, and it's a Manchester United throw 10 yards inside the Wolves half on the right-hand side.
It's a bit of a surprise from the free kick that Doherty's being left to mark Harry Maguire, the best header of a ball in the United team. It looks to be a bit of a mismatch.
Martial looking infield for the run of Jesse Lingard.
Well, he's thrown himself to the floor there, trying to buy a free kick. Shouldn't be doing that, Martial. I mean, look at the size of him. They should be bouncing off him.
22 minutes gone at Molineux, here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Chris Sutton and Arlo White with you tonight. Wolves 0, Manchester United 0. Anthony Martial, which is a promising statistic from last week's game against Chelsea, put the most sprints in of any player in the Premier League.
Well, it depends where you're running, doesn't it?
I would imagine that is significant, yes. But he got off the mark, didn't he, for the season? Here he is again. What are his options here? The left-hand side is Luke Shaw, and the corner of the penalty area is Marcus Rashford. It's been recycled to Scott McTominay. Now Maguire to Shaw. He puts his head down and sprints towards the corner of the area, then drops it off to the left-hand side where Martial is now stationed. Rashford's in the centre-forward position in the right on the edge of the penalty area. Jesse Lingard making a run into the penalty area, but Willy Bolly spotted that, heads the cross clear, but it only falls to Daniel James. His header forces Wan-Bissaka back, and it just tempted Diogo Jota to go in with the challenge. In fact, it was Johnny Otto, and then it's Moutinho. Now, does he foul James? In fact, it's gone the other way, and here comes the yellow card for Daniel James. For simulation from John Moss, he may have been fortunate in the opening 10 minutes to get away with one. He hasn't got away with it twice, and the Wolves fans enjoyed that.
Well, I have to say, I think he's a natural at diving. I mean, he's clearly thrown himself to the floor. Daniel James, you're better than that. Really poor from him. And John Moss with an easy decision. He does another one, and he'll be off. He's got a problem.
Yep. He could easily have been handed that yellow card earlier in the game as well. The flick on by Wolves. It's untidy defending by Lindelof. Then he and Shaw leave it to each other. Then Lindelof almost heads it over David De Gea. A comedy of errors. United get away with it. And David De Gea rolls the ball out to Wan-Bissaka, and Chris Sutton can barely believe what he just saw.
That was incredible. First, a Lindelof slice up in the air, and then hesitation from both the United defenders. The ball bouncing in the box, and then decides to head back to De Gea, who was already on the move. And De Gea clutches the ball above his head, thankfully, for Lindelof.
Shaw nods that clearance down to Jesse Lingard. Almost gave Diogo Jota a chance, but it's Paul Pogba who takes possession inside Manchester United's half, and he finds Lindelof, who strokes it once again to Harry Maguire. Pogba just trotting into the centre circle, making himself available, but there's space out on the right here for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Tight to the touchline is James. The boos have started for him again, and as Chris Sutton says, he has to be very careful now on that yellow card. His back pass, virtually from the halfway line, left-footed all the way back to David De Gea, who in turn finds Victor Lindelof. 25 minutes on the clock. Wolves 0, Manchester United 0.
Just on that most sprints thing, that Anthony Martial's stat from last week, I do know a player, when the Carling Opta first started, who used to do doggies when we were having a throw-in. Just to get his Carling Opta stats up. He will remain nameless.
That is such a shame.
Alan Thompson.
Tomo thrown under the bus. Just when he thought he got away with it. Here's Jesse Lingard inside the Wolves half. Now Luke Shaw on the left-hand side. Lingard again, now turns with purpose towards the goal. Here's Marcus Rashford, he slides it in towards Martial, is the opening goal! Left-footed top corner, Anthony Martial gets his second Premier League goal of the season. Super incisive football from Manchester United, the best move they put together all night so far, and they take the lead here at Molineux. 26 minutes on the clock. Anthony Martial for the Red Devils. It's Wolves 0, United 1.
Yeah, martial art, this really good move. You said it, Arlo. Incisive, really quick interplay. The ball's threaded through. I don't know whether the ball's actually meant for Luke Shaw, but Martial makes a little diagonal run as the ball's fed to him from Rashford, and left foot, swings his left foot, and the ball goes past Patricio into the roof of the net. It's a fantastic instinctive finish, one he didn't have to think about. Ruthless Martial, and United, I have to say, I think they deserve their lead.
It's his 50th goal for Manchester United and his 12th in his last 18 Premier League starts. He's a player who is flourishing under the guidance of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was just having a word with Jesse Lingard there on the touchline as Wolves prepare to get us back underway. United lead. It was a terrific move. And it's their fans who are singing on the far side in the lower tier of the Steve Bull stand. Can Wolves respond?
Well, they're a counter-attacking team. Now they have to take the game to United, and you think that would suit United, who have that pace.
United took the lead here in the Premier League game last season and lost by 2-1. The memory of that is still fresh. Diogo Jota tried to cross it in from the left-hand side, sliced it, and it's behind harmlessly for a goal kick.
Yeah, they haven't got going really, Wolves. It was a wonderful finish from Martial. I think that his weaker left foot, he's got that pace, hasn't he? And I said earlier, I think that maybe Rashford was looking for Luke Shaw on the left-hand side of the box, but Martial put the burners on and then just saw, on my weaker foot, I'm going to hit it as hard as I can. And Patricio, it was past him in a flash.
Miscontrol by Paul Pogba, no harm done. The ball bounced straight to Harry Maguire. United didn't win any of their final 4 away games in the Premier League last season, losing 3 of them. And they've not won any of their last 5 away games in all competitions. That followed a magnificent run of 9 straight wins away from Old Trafford. Daniel James with the miscontrol, and Johnny Otto has a throw in here, ball above his head in his old gold shirt and his white boots, just outside the penalty area on Wolverhampton Wanderers' left-hand side. 1-0 United lead in the 30th minute. Anthony Martial with his 2nd of the season. Paul Pogba puts the challenge in on Raul Jimenez, the Mexico international, nodded forward by Neves up towards the halfway line on the Wolves left-hand side, and it's a foul by Paul Pogba on João Moutinho. Free kick on the Wolves left.
Wolves just cannot get any real rhythm, can't get a foothold into this game. I know they like to counter and sit in and pounce. United really dominant in these opening stages.
Jimenez. Here's Leander Dendoncker over on the right touchline for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Dendoncker again, nice turn to try and get away from Maguire, who's back now level. Dendoncker does well to slide it back to his teammate Jimenez, who's now on the right-hand side. The cross comes in. It was aimed towards Diogo Jota, about 16 yards from goal, but it's well tidied up by Paul Pogba, who sends the ball long and asks Anthony Martial to chase it into the Wolves' half, but sweeping up is Willy Boly, and the intensity and the pace of the game has certainly picked up since that United goal. Wolves know they need to respond. Moutinho. Here's Johnny Otto on the left-hand side. On the overlap is Jota against Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka. He dropped a shoulder into Wan-Bissaka, who went tumbling. That looks like a physical mismatch, but Jota won it, and he's won his side a corner.
Well, Jota received that, and he was probably a yard or two ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, he's so quick over that first yard or so, gets back shoulder to shoulder, and it goes behind.
João Moutinho to curl it in with his right foot. He had 8 assists in the Premier League last season, the most for Wolves. Veteran Portugal international, a real coup when Wolves signed him from Monaco. In it goes towards the near post, the flicked header. It was a good opportunity for Jimenez, who has another shot on the turn, blocked by Paul Pogba, and it's back on the halfway line through Connor Cody, who's being chased by Martial, who almost charged down that clearance or attempted pass forward, and it stayed in play on that far side for Manchester United, and it's the long legs of Scott McTominay who were drifting into the Wolves half on the left-hand side, but Dendoncker got back to make the challenge. It's back with Patricio, who puts his foot through a clearance up into the centre circle. Header won by Pogba, but it fell straight to Moutinho. He gives the ball away to Wan-Bissaka. Now there's some space. Rashford has found Daniel James on the right corner of the penalty area. Rashford continues towards the byline. He's forced out by Willy Boly. The support arrives from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now tight to that right touchline is Marcus Rashford on the United right. Wan-Bissaka, side of the penalty area, up against Johnny Otto, and the two tumble to the ground. They both get back to their feet. Wan-Bissaka won't leave Johnny Otto alone, but he does excellently to find Neves. Now on the left-hand side is Raul Jimenez, but look at the pace of Daniel James to get back, to win possession back, and then to draw the foul from Jimenez, who has a yellow cast on his left wrist, but it's a free kick to United, 2 yards inside the Wolves half.
They're a yard sharper, aren't they, the United team, in terms of pressing, closing down. They lose the ball, the hunger's there. Daniel James did really well
Long ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Willy Boly heads it clear. It was aimed for Marcus Rashford, who's certainly playing in a more central position. I wonder if Jesse Lingard, who we saw chatting to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, he's trotting back now to the centre of midfield. I thought for a moment then he was stationed further forward. We'll keep our eye on it. Rashford just off the left of Martial as we look at things. Here's Dendoncker for Wolves. And he finds João Moutinho, who just drifts past Jesse Lingard. Dendoncker again. Moutinho's continued his run down the right-hand side. Dendoncker finds Doherty on the right touchline, through the legs of the United defender, but it's Lingard who could bring the ball clear. Now the possibilities here on the counter-attack. Daniel James in the centre circle. Willy Boly with a physical challenge, but he loses out to Anthony Martial, who spins away from him, and now he invites Jesse Lingard into the attack on the right-hand side. Martial available down the right flank. It goes back to Wan-Bissaka. Paul Pogba takes possession, head on a swivel. To the left-hand side he goes to McTominay. Now all the way over to the left touchline and Luke Shaw. Patient build-up play here by Manchester United. Wolves with all 11 men behind the ball as Victor Lindelof side foots it with his right foot to Wan-Bissaka. They do look confident, Chris, in possession, don't they, Manchester United? And they don't look in any particular hurry, but we have seen with the goal that when they want to, they have the ability to be incisive.
That they've just controlled this game, haven't they, from the start. And you talk about them looking comfortable in possession but out of possession. They've been so impressive, not letting Wolves play at all.
Here's Lingard, chests the ball into his own path, plays it back inside to Paul Pogba. Little drop of the shoulder. He's got Moutinho clipping at his heels. Inside the fullback it goes to James. The cutback is cut out by Connor Cody before Anthony Martial could take advantage. And now Wolves trying to build up on the left-hand side through Jota. Does very well, surrounded by 3 or 4 Manchester United red shirts to retain possession for Wolves. Moutinho sends it back to his goalkeeper Patricio. It was chased down by Martial. Patricio with a hurried clearance, but a good one. The back flick by Dendoncker on the halfway line to Raul Jimenez. Right-hand side for Wolves, given away again.
Good pressure from United. High press. Wolves get out well initially in the first phase. On the halfway line, United win it back.
10 minutes left of this first half at Molineux. Manchester United lead Wolves by 1-0 through Anthony Martial here on 5 Live Sport. More patience from United as Maguire finds Lindelof. I don't think there's any doubt that is United's starting first choice centre-back pairing. Eric Bailly was injured during pre-season. He's had surgery. He won't be available for a while, but Phil Jones and Chris Smalling also waiting in the wings. I dread to think where Marcus Rojo is in the pecking order these days. Long ball forward by Wolves, but it's nodded down quite easily and comfortably by Lindelof. Now between the lines they go. Shaw finds Rashford. Edge of the penalty area is Martial trying to get away from his defender, and almost did so, and it's Connor Cody who got a right-footed block challenge in just inside the penalty area. And there are 1 or 2 groans from the Wolves fans who are getting frustrated at their team's inability to hold on to possession and the lack of options that the defenders have when they bring the ball out.
Well, they just can't get out, Wolves, but I think you have to credit United for that. Nuno up in his technical area, he's saying we need more from you in an attacking sense. Wolves, but they really haven't been in this game.
United had a free kick. It's taken backwards. Here's Paul Pogba a yard inside his own half in the middle of the centre circle. Lindelof has Wan-Bissaka to his right-hand side. He chooses Harry Maguire to his left-hand side. Here's Rashford just inside the Wolves half. Looked up and he's just gesticulated with the palm of the hand to Daniel James that the switch wasn't on that time. Here's McTominay. Nice first one-touch play through the midfield by Manchester United, but again it goes back to Harry Maguire.
There's that quick switch. Consequence of Wolves set up United. Those quick switches, really getting a lot of joy from that.
Between the lines again, here's Marcus Rashford in a narrow position. He's got Luke Shaw out on the left. He's got Daniel James out on the right. He was the intended recipient. It was a very alert Johnny Otto who stretched out a left leg to concede the throw-in. To be taken by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, halfway inside the Wolves half. just holding the ball in front of his face. What are his options here? Paul Pogba right in front of him. He chooses the feet of Daniel James. He spins Johnny Otto very easily and almost dashes down the right flank. It's broken here though to Lingard. Now McTominay. It's Rashford, central position, chips it over, looking for Martial, almost found him. Willy Bolly with some very athletic defending to get back and head it clear, and then he does so once again with the left foot up towards the halfway line. The flag stayed down on that chip from Rashford towards Martial. And here's Daniel James with a bit of room to manoeuvre down the right flank against Johnny Otto, who concedes the throw.
Yeah, Wolves are getting a real going over there. And had it not been for Willy Bolly being superbly alert and reading that pass from Rashford, he's been the outstanding player, I think, in this first half.
38 minutes gone. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. United yet to concede a goal in this fledgling Premier League season. That was the first that Wolves had conceded. João Moutinho's down on the ground clutching his left shin. Was it a challenge by Paul Pogba there, Chris?
There's Pogba on the ball, trying to use his body and worm between two Wolves players. And then Moutinho challenges him. I think it's and he actually stands on Moutinho's, this is right foot. He's trying to win the ball back. I think that is accidental. Just catches him on the Achilles, right Achilles. Moutinho up, nothing in that.
Nothing to concern Paul Tierney and his team at Stockley Park.
Yes, I think VAR would have had a look at that. I think what we have seen from VAR in the first...
John Moss has just blown the whistle. He's pointing, well, he's pressing his ear. So there will be a check. They check everything. They're constantly checking all incidents in the match. Check complete, I think, is the message from Paul Tierney to John Moss. They were happy with what they saw. They are allowed to adjudicate potential red card issues.
There wasn't enough in that, or anything in that, really. But they have, I think, the officials at Stockley Park the first couple of weeks, they have made a concerted effort to really try and back the referees.
The bar is very high for clear and obvious errors. Luke Shaw down that left-hand side wins the corner for Manchester United. He was slid through by Marcus Rashford. And when he builds a head of steam, Luke Shaw, he's got some pace to offer United in their attacks. Remember, no Tuffers and Vaughan on 5 Live tonight, but you can download the show as a podcast or even listen on BBC Sounds, the Tuffers and Vaughan show. I don't think any of us can quite wait for the start of the third test at Headingley on Wednesday. I know you're a bit of a cricket buff yourself, Chris. Thursday, excuse me. In goes the corner kick, the flicked header from McTominay. He was trying to find Anthony Martial. There was a loud shout of Thursday in my ear that I think has just almost given you a heart attack there, Chris. Are you okay? You look to be slightly shocked.
Slightly too loud for me, but I'm glad we cleared all that up. Wouldn't have liked people visiting Headingley on Wednesday.
They could have seen some good net sessions though. But the introduction of Jofra Archer has certainly added a bit of spice to that series. Australia still leading by 1 test to 0 with 3 to play. Anyway, back here at Molineux, Anthony Martial spins away from a challenge. Did he have his shirt grabbed there? It looks to me, but John Moss is playing the advantage. The chip up towards Martial, tries to juggle the ball. Can he get a shot away? He can't in the end. Lovely skill by Anthony Martial. Well found by Daniel James, and this header by Harry Maguire will go directly out of play.
Is he going to get a yellow card here? Ryan Bennett for the tug on Martial's shirt. I think he's just getting a telling off. There's a clear pull. Martial using his body well, rolling Ryan Bennett. He could have had a free kick, but John Moss, I think, rightly playing the advantage.
41 minutes in, almost 42 minutes here at Molineux on 5 Live Sport. And if you're just joining us, Anthony Martial with his 50th Manchester United goal. Tremendous finish, an incisive move down the centre of that Wolves defence, left-footed into the roof of the net. It's the only goal so far, his second of the season. United lead Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0. Long clearance by David De Gea. Conor Coady backtracking, wins the header under pressure from Anthony Martial. A nod down from Neves to Ryan Bennett. He was under pressure from Rashford on the edge of his own penalty area, so thumped it clear, beautifully controlled by...
Lovely touch from Maguire, wasn't it?
Very cultured from the England centre-back. Leicester City fans, by the way, have a new hero, Çağlar Söyüncü. It's a case of Harry Hu, apparently, at the King Power Stadium. Söyüncü, the Turkish international. They decided not to replace Harry Maguire. Maybe dabbled in the transfer market, didn't see value for a like-for-like replacement. So Söyüncü has got the nod alongside Johnny Evans and has shown up very well so far. Ball forward into the chest of Anthony Martial, right-hand side for Manchester United. Conor Cody desperately trying to keep up with him. A square pass into the centre circle to Scott McTominay. McTominay to the left-hand side into Luke Shaw. And the attack has lost its impetus. A bit of interpassing between Rashford and McTominay. Rashford's got it back. Shaw was making a run in behind Doherty. And then there's a heavy challenge there on McTominay. Free kick to Manchester United, 20 yards inside the Wolves half, just to the left-hand side. Ruben Neves with the foul.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of frustration from Neves. They are being dominated. Wolves, more sheep than Wolves in this first half. United have been really good value for their lead.
And we're inside the final 2 minutes of this first half. Daniel James is just placing the ball down for this free kick. Way too far out for a shot, but Harry Maguire, as always, is the man furthest back, and he's the target. Now, who did that come off last? It's bouncing towards the byline. It won't go out of play anyway, so no decision will have to be made, and it's Doherty that sent it down the left-hand side. A nod forward by Ruben Neves. He was looking for Diogo Jota, and the pair of them sort of look at each other in frustration. Not on the same page at the moment. In fact, it's João Moutinho with the yellow boots on who couldn't get on the end of that header from Neves. They do look a little bit frustrated out there, Chris, don't they? They can't get a foothold in the game here at the moment, Wolves.
I think it's pretty natural. They will be frustrated. They haven't offered anything really in this first half so far, but as we see, that United high press, they're really aggressive.
And they force another mistake out of Wolverhampton Wanderers, and another groan goes around Molineux. United back in possession through Pogba. He looked to play that between the lines assertively into the feet of Martial. It was repelled though by the Wolves defence, but United have it back, and Paul Pogba, having played the ball towards Martial, realised he missed his target, just sank to his knees in disappointment. There'll be 1 minute of time added on at the end of this first half. We're into that now. Away goes Jota, a sliding Wan-Bissaka, got the challenge in it, ricocheted back off Jota and straight to David De Gea, who picks the ball up in his penalty area.
Top defending from Wan-Bissaka. Jota had got the better of Lindelof. He's got that pace to get back. Sliding challenge. He's looked very impressive in this first half, as have most of the Manchester United players.
Wan-Bissaka, and he's forced back to David De Gea again by Jota. Raul Jimenez was closing down the goalkeeper, so no chances taken there by David De Gea. And Martial could be in. It's a pull back pass. Martial! Well, I think he's actually got past Willy Bolly there and then trodden on the ball and left it behind, and Rui Patricio was able to gather it right on the edge of his penalty area.
Well, it's horrific from Ryan Bennett, and it's a short back pass. Martial's onto it in a flash. Bolly goes to ground, and he prods the ball out of Bolly's reach and stands on the ball. Big chance for Martial on the half-time to extend United's lead.
He could have doubled that advantage with virtually the last kick of the first half, and he's walking off. He looks ever so disappointed with his blue boots. He's walking very slowly towards the tunnel. But your assessment of that first 45 minutes, Chris, United deserving their half-time advantage.
Absolutely the dominant team. Wolves haven't got started. More sheep than Wolves in this first half, but I think United have been so impressive, watertight at the back, and thoroughly deserve their 1-0 lead.
Martial and Rashford, the last two Manchester United players down the tunnel, walking very slowly indeed. Chappers, half-time at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 1. Anthony Martial in the 27th minute, and Wolves with plenty of work to do in the second half. Thank you. Didn't see that one coming. Ball play through to David De Gea, who's got the ball at his feet. And Chappers was mentioning a spark, perhaps, or one of the texters was, for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, they brought Adama Traore on, who is rapid, to say the least. Now, is he playing at right wing-back? Because Matt Doherty has gone off, hasn't he, Chris?
Well, does that suggest an injury? I would suggest that it does, because you would have thought that one thing he lacks is a bit of defensive discipline. but we know he is rapid. But Wolves have to respond in this second half. There's a Wolves team last season who had real snap and snarl and bite. Didn't see that in the first half. It surprised us. It's can they react?
It was a rather passive first half performance, but already they're into Manchester United territory through Dendoncker, and here's Traore. A little murmur of anticipation goes around Molineux as he runs towards Luke Shaw. Then he gets a decent cross into the near post. It's headed clear by Maguire. There was no old gold shirt there in the vicinity of the near post. Dendoncker nods it across the area to Moutinho. Possibilities here for Wolves. On the left-hand side is Johnny Otto, and at the near post it's forced behind by Harry Maguire before Raul Jimenez was able to get involved. Now what have we got? We've got an injury on the far side, haven't we? And it's Diogo Jota. And it's Ruben Neves who's just alerted John Moss to the situation, and he's just clutching his right knee. Let's take a look at the replay here, Chris, to see what happened. It was
Daniel James.
Daniel James, who's on a yellow.
Yes, which is why the United players are surrounding the referee. Now, I think it's accidental, but what you would say is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has some thinking to do.
He can't be shown a second yellow through VAR, can he? But he can be shown a straight red, if that is deemed to be a red card offence.
What I'm talking about is if he gets a second yellow, he's on a booking already for diving, deservedly so. He'll be off, so I wonder he's not going to get away with many more.
Nuno Espirito Santo just stroking the beard, is sitting on that Wolves bench at the moment. 47 minutes gone, 1-0 to Manchester United here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Jota is back on his feet. He's off the field. He's going to have to go off to come back on again. He was only a yard in field when he was down on the ground. John Moss is trotting back towards the penalty area, and it's João Moutinho who has this corner kick taken to the corner of the area to Johnny Otto. Back it goes to improve the angle for Moutinho, but it's a disappointing cross headed clear at the corner of the 6-yard box by Paul Pogba. Jota has the ball at his feet now, appears to be moving okay after that challenge from Daniel James. Across the back line it goes, on the halfway line to Connor Cody. Dendoncker dispossessed. Adama Traore wins the ball back from Jesse Lingard. He's built like a middleweight boxer, Adama Traore. Very stocky, broad shoulders, barrel-chested, and as Chris says, extraordinarily quick.
I think he was the quickest player on FIFA last year.
Play a lot of that, do you?
Not at all. Just know you like your stats.
Chappers has said that. Maybe think I probably give a few too many out. I don't recall saying too many of them.
It's a personal attack.
De Gea, under pressure, finds Luke Shaw. His header hits the midriff of Traore, and then Shaw wins the follow-up challenge against Moutinho, and Manchester United can build an attack through Wan-Bissaka. Into the Wolves half he finds Lingard. Lingard again, Wan-Bissaka again. Down the middle is Martial. Lingard's making a terrific run. That's taken a defender with him. Wan-Bissaka on the corner, right corner of that Wolves penalty area. James still being booed for his diving antics. Here's a chance for Lingard, who hasn't scored in 13 Premier League games, and he kicks clear fresh air on the half volley. That was a super ball from the right-hand side. He was in plenty of space and completely missed his kick. Now Wolverhampton Wanderers trying to build down the right-hand side. The first ball by Neves was cut out by Rashford, but eventually it finds Traore. He dwells on the ball a little bit. That enables Rashford to get the challenge in, and it's a Wolves throw on their right inside their own half.
Yeah, just looking at this chance for Lingard, who I think needs to show great improvement this season. I thought, quite frankly, he was a major disappointment last season. It's not an easy one, in fairness. The ball whipped in from the right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka just bounces in front of Lingard, who doesn't get a good connection at all.
No Premier League goal since last December. John Moss blows his whistle. It's a foul on Daniel James by Ruben Neves, just outside the centre circle in the Wolves half, and he's going to be summoned for a lecture, if not worse. Yeah, it's a yellow card for Ruben Neves.
And I think the correct decision from John Moss. James has got that little burst, hasn't he, of pace, gets away from Neves, who brings him down.
So Neves has to watch himself, as does Daniel James, of course, after that first half yellow card for simulation. We are almost 6 minutes into the second half here at Molineux. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. Anthony Martial with the only goal so far, his 50th for United, his second in the Premier League so far this season. Here's McTominay to the left-hand side, and Luke Shaw has been afforded a bit of space by Traore. Rolls it down the line for Anthony Martial, who shrugs off the attentions of Connor Cody. Gets the ball back again, flicks it down the line between Cody's legs to Luke Shaw. And there's a real presence about Manchester United and a calmness about them in possession here at Molineux tonight. Wan-Bissaka striding forward, thought about the shot, plays it into the area, inches away from Jesse Lingard, who is finding room for himself with those late-breaking runs into the penalty area. Let's see if it should have been a corner.
Well, Wan-Bissaka receives the ball out. So 30-40 yards out. I don't think it was a corner. He actually shapes to shoot from about 35 yards. In fact, it was a corner. And Bolly takes the slightest of touches with his right boot. The ball was on its way through to Lingard, put him off. Really clever play from Wan-Bissaka there. United quite rightly feel hard done by.
Well, let's keep our eyes on Jesse Lingard and those runs into the penalty area. In a game where there's been very little space in and around each penalty area, he's found himself wide open twice in the last 5 minutes. But United haven't doubled their advantage. Traore with a throw-in, 10 yards from the halfway line on the Wolves' right. Gave Moutinho a bit of work to do there. The ball bouncing around. United should have it back. Daniel James trying to win possession, but it's Ryan Bennett who finds Ruben Neves, and then it's Willy Bolly striding forward towards the halfway line. He finds Jota, who's moving quite comfortably now after that injury scare a few moments ago. Bolly for Wolves. Here's Connor Cody, the academy product at Liverpool, who won't need any incentive to beat Manchester United tonight. It's a super ball out to the right flank to Traore, excellently challenged and tackled by McTominay, but then as Traore was trying to get onto the loose ball again, he was fouled by Harry Maguire, who has a wry grin on his face. Traore stays on the ground. It's a yard or two from the right corner of the penalty area, and some decent service here could be very dangerous for Manchester United.
Yeah, only a couple of minutes into this second half, but we've seen more aggression from Wolves. Harry Maguire didn't think it was a free kick. I did. I thought Traore got to the ball first, and this is an opportunity on the right hand side of the box for Wolves. Moutinho over the ball. It's all about the delivery, isn't it?
Fans in the Sir Jack Hayward stand are serenading Adama Traore, who's just given Wolves a bit of a spark so far in this second half. 8 minutes in, they trail by a goal to nil here on 5 Live Sport. Moutinho with his yellow boots. There's the service, the flicked header. Oh, it's off the post by Jimenez. It was a sensational header. Here's Willy Bolly trying to nod it down for a teammate on the edge of the 6-yard box. That looked for all the money like it was creeping in at the far post, but it didn't. Traore stands it up towards the back post. It's flicked away by Wan-Bissaka. That's the closest, easily the closest that Wolves have come to an equalising goal since falling behind. Here's Traore again. First time side-footed attempted cross, and it's miscued behind for a corner kick by Harry Maguire.
Yeah, even Maguire in that situation takes up a good position. He's not composed there. Slices it wildly into the stand, but so unlucky. Moutinho whips the ball in right-footed, and there's a brilliant run from Jimenez across the near post, gets a flick. It looks like it's in. De Gea getting nowhere near it, and it bounces to safety. We've got a game on now.
A wonderful header. It bounced off the post and into De Gea, who was merely a spectator. Drilled across by Moutinho. Here's Neves. He likes to shoot from outside the area, and he's done it again. A sensational equaliser by Ruben Neves. He only scores worldies, this lad. Top corner, 1-1. Molineux erupts.
Well, I said we had a game on, but blimey, what a finish this is from Ruben Neves. You felt they were up front at the start of the second half, but this is just absolutely brilliant from Neves. It's a Wolves corner. It's played short, and then it's played back. I think they'll probably check that with the VAR. It's whipped out to Neves, who's free, 22 yards out, takes a touch, sets himself, and then bends it into the far top corner. Actually hits the underside of the bar. It is a brilliant finish.
John Moss has his finger pointed to his ear in contact with the Premier League match centre. It's one of those awful moments when you think, oh, has something been spotted that's going to roll out a quite brilliant, breathtaking goal by Ruben Neves.
Well, they're checking the corner. The corner was played short. I don't know who took the corner, maybe Moutinho, and it's played short, and he receives the ball back. Now, I just wonder whether he's in an offside position. The United defenders have moved up.
It's an official review here. We're seeing it on our screens now, Chris. A VAR review. John Moss has his hands behind his back. The home fans break out into a chorus of boos, and we're seeing various lines being placed next to the ball. It's very tight.
It's so tight. In these ones, I know it causes uproar, but I think we have to trust the technology.
Well, Harry Maguire is chatting to Ruben Neves, and look, if it's offside, it's offside, but what a shame to see a goal of that incredible quality disallowed. The lines are going in now, the red line for the defensive line and the blue line, and the goal will stand. Well, the roar from the Molineux crowd is almost as loud as when they scored it. Two for the price of one, Chris.
I think we could hear the Wolves fans what they thought of VAR. But, I mean, that would have been a tragedy, wouldn't it? The beauty of that strike from Neves. I mean, it was absolutely wonderful.
And the ball by Moutinho, having taken the short corner, it was drilled along the ground, wasn't it, to the edge of the penalty area. Neves got it out of his feet. The curler was absolutely perfect. De Gea leaping. It was the only spot the ball could have gone in. It cannoned off the underside of the bar. We always love to see that, don't we?
Well, two De Geas wouldn't have saved that. Just wonder whether Solskjaer, from a corner, from a set piece, the one player, the one Wolves player you don't want to see free with the ball, 22 yards out, that's Ruben Neves. Should have been aware of that.
Well, it was a rather sedate first 45 minutes from Wolves. That's not the case now. They've hit the post and they've scored the equaliser. And they've got the wind in their sails. Traoré into the penalty area, onto his left foot. He has a shot that drags it wide. They're a new team.
They are. And his presence has made a difference. Driving in on that left foot of his, and he drags a shot horribly wide, but he's worrying Luke Shaw, Manchester United fullback. But they're on to United now, Wolves, pressing them high.
And they didn't do that in the first half either, did they? They were very passive, sitting off a lower block. Now it seems like they're first to every ball. Willy Bolly wins a header above Daniel James. The crowd are back in the game as well. And by the way, the man in charge of the implementation of VAR, the former ref Neil Swarbrick, will take your calls and answer questions on 5 Live Breakfast in the morning from 8:30. I dare say the first caller, we've got a Chris in Cromer.
That'll be jammed, won't it? Nobody will be able to get through.
Luke Shaw, the high press is on again from Wolves, and they're trying to pick their way through it here, Manchester United. Untidily, it's off Scott McTominay out for a throw-in. It's a completely different game. 1-1. We've played 14 minutes of this second half, and now come United through Jesse Lingard up towards the halfway line. It was Anthony Martial who tries to chip the ball over the top of Conor Cody. The flag is up on the near side, offside against Wolves, and United have an opportunity here just to calm things down.
Well, they're rattled, and that's all credit to Wolves. But you feel now, if Wolves are really going to push and press and not let United play out from the back, it may suit United with the pace that they have up top.
Just seeing the reaction of Ruben Neves. He punched the air when that ball hit the underside of the bar and bounced into the net. The look of absolute glee on the face of Ruben Neves. He only scores from outside the area. He scored more Premier League goals last season than touches inside the opposition box. 4 Premier League goals. He only touched the ball 3 times in the opposition penalty area. He scored a goal a couple of years ago in the Championship against Derby County, which was simply stunning. Here's Luke Shaw, left-hand side for Manchester United, who now must withstand this first half whirlwind from the Wolves.
You think big moment on half-time when Martial did score the goal, but he went through, didn't he? Just right on the whistle, 1v1, trod on the ball.
Wan-Bissaka, the promise here for Manchester United, up towards the corner of the penalty area. Daniel James towards the byline. Low cross comes in, it almost reached Anthony Martial. It took a flick off Connor Cody. Here's Luke Shaw, rolls it back to McTominay. He tried the shot, but he would have to have got it through João Moutinho, who was right in front of it. It cannons away off the Portuguese for a United throw-in, almost level with the edge of the penalty area on United's left-hand side. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is now shouting and pointing in various directions, left hand in his pocket, in that black suit. A concerned man, I think it's fair to say. It was all going rather serenely for his side until Wolves came out for the second half and were level at 1-1, having played 16 minutes of the second period.
Look, I think the truth is he would have been emphasising at half-time, you know, Wolves are going to come out, they've had a bad first half. You use the word passive, absolutely spot on, and Wolves have responded. The test for United now is to hang on in there. We've seen they've been a big threat going forward in that first half.
Manchester United kicking to the goal away to our left-hand side, and the Stan Cullis stand, the two tiers of that redeveloped stand. United have a free kick 10 or so yards in from the left touchline. Wolves are defending a yard inside the penalty area. I think he's going to have a go here, Marcus Rashford. It's a long way out. He was shaping up to get one of those knuckleball type free kicks. He dragged it horribly wide. Goal kick to Wolves.
Well, I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford, but that was overly ambitious. So probably 35-40 yards out. Wolves didn't even bother putting a wall up, but that was ridiculous from Rashford. Horrible drag. Well wide of the Wolves goal.
United throw on the left-hand side, just inside the Wolves half. And we're seeing another replay of the Ruben Neves goal, and it just gets better with each watch. It's absolutely magnificent. Here's Luke Shaw, left-hand side. John Moss has spotted a foul on Anthony Martial right by the touchline. So a free kick again to Manchester United. Now will Harry Maguire trot up for this one? Yes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying it's not just the defending in their own penalty area they want from Maguire, they want him to contribute in the opposition penalty area as well, but they didn't really let him get set there, did they? They took the free kick quickly, it was whipped across by Martial, and Maguire wasn't even looking. It's out on the far side anyway for a United throw.
That's the old nightmare for a centre-half, isn't it? You jog forward, waiting for the free kick to be delivered. It was taken too quickly, and there's a horrible cross from Martial.
Throw-in taken short. United on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. Pogba was looking for Martial just inside the penalty area. Martial turns round and acknowledges the idea. The execution wasn't quite there. Tomorrow night on 5 Live Sport, Kelly Cates introduces the Tuesday Night Club with Stephen Warnock, Robert Huth, Premier League winner with Leicester, and Stephen Kelly. Our next Premier League commentary, by the way, is Friday night, the first Friday nighter of the season. Aston Villa against Everton. Darren Fletcher presents alongside Ali Bruce Ball and Karen Carney. It's the second Friday night match of the season after the first one last week, of course, Chris. I was just testing it.
I mean, could somebody not come up
I was at the game. How did I not know that?
Could somebody not come up with a more original name than the Tuesday Night Club?
Well, away go Wolves into the penalty area. It's Jota. It's McTominay who's got back, and some very important defending by Harry Maguire before the ball could roll into the path of Jimenez. Wolves have it back in the midfield. Moutinho out onto the left-hand side to Johnny Otto. Moutinho again, those bright yellow boots, rolls it back to Neves, the scorer of the equaliser. In turn, plays it to Connor Cody, right-footed down the line. He was looking for the head of Dendoncker. It's Harry Maguire, who's just dragged out of his position at centre-back, but he won the header. The diagonal ball towards Rashford on the left-hand side is ruled out by Bennett, and here's Traore, who flicks it inside of Luke Shaw. He runs into McTominay, but comes away with the ball at his feet. Then it's a good challenge by Daniel James on Neves to win the ball back for Manchester United. He springs to his feet to try and make a run, but the pass-through is overhit by Scott McTominay, and that draws Ole Gunnar Solskjaer once again to the edge of his technical area, just saying, calm down.
I tell you what, it's really opened up, hasn't it, this second half. Wolves gambling, when you think how disciplined they were in the first half, but they're going for it. Can United exploit, though, the spaces which they are leaving?
Wolves 1, Manchester United 1, 20 minutes into this second half. Here on 5 Live Sport from the BBC, Arlo White alongside Chris Sutton here at a rather raucous Molineux, who are far happier with life now than they were at half-time. Moutinho chips it forward down the left-hand side. Space for Jota to run into. Dendonker's getting forward into the penalty area. He's rolled it back to, I think it's Johnny Otto on the edge. He was tripped or tackled, I should say, dispossessed as he was trying to shape to shoot. Now it's end-to-end stuff, the game becoming rather stretched, and it's Ryan Bennett with a wild challenge on Marcus Rashford, who would have been away down the left-hand side, and it's a yellow card brandished by John Moss against Ryan Bennett.
Well, you know, in that situation, you feel Rashford likes to drift out on the left-hand side and up against Bennett. There's only going to be one winner there, faces him up, pushes the ball past him, says, let's have a foot race. Bennett just brings him down.
Free transfer from Norwich City, Chris, Ryan Bennett, wasn't he? Here's Pogba towards the corner of the penalty area, gets it back from Martial. Pogba now, is that a penalty? The challenge by Conor Cody, and he points to the spot, John Moss. Penalty kick to Manchester United. The foul on Pogba. It was a lovely bit of interplay between Martial and Pogba. Now VAR will obviously take a look at this at the Premier League Match Centre.
Well, you can normally tell from the defender's reaction. It's brilliant from Pogba, the touch.
Conor Cody waves his arms as if to say, I didn't touch him. Pogba with the right foot, he just got it past him. Yet there's a clip on the left foot of Paul Pogba. I can't see this being overturned for a clear and obvious error, can you, Chris?
Absolutely not. It's a wonderful first touch, and he just draws Conor Cody, slips the ball past him. He would have been in on goal inside the box. Panache and poise from Pogba. Now the chance to put United ahead from the spot.
It was a lovely French connection in the penalty area between Martial and Pogba. Remember, Rashford was on penalty duty last week against Chelsea. Now it's Pogba, the more regular penalty taker for United. Not a long run up. He steps up and he's saved! Patricio to his right hand side. It was nowhere near the corner, at a nice height, as they say. Pogba denied. Well, maybe Rashford should have taken it, and the score remains Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Manchester United 1, 23 minutes into this second half. What an opportunity missed by Paul Pogba and Manchester United.
Well, it was, but fair play to the goalkeeper. He flings himself to his right hand side, spreads himself, makes the save. Not a stuttery run up from Paul Pogba, which was seen in the past. Couple of steps, whams the ball to Patricio's right hand side. He reads it. He goes early and makes the save. Brilliant goalkeeping.
Well, Molineux comes alive again, and it's a rueful looking Paul Pogba who stepped up. It was a left forearm, wasn't it, that was thrust out by Rui Patricio. Oh no, it was the palms, actually. It was the palms of his hands.
He reads it superbly well. He pounces, the Portuguese pounces to his right hand side, and I mean, how big a save could that be?
Well, United had weathered the Wolves storm. Wolves had got level, and then United had started to just get a grip on the game, and what a boost that would have been to have retaken the lead at 2-1. It could have burst the Wolverhampton Wanderers bubble, but as it is, they're still in the game. It's 1-1 at Molineux, and it's been a terrific second half so far as we approach the final 20 minutes of it. United in possession inside their own half through Lindelof. Wide he goes to the right touchline, and Wan-Bissaka, he was looking to thread it through towards Martial. It's picked up here by Daniel James. James into the penalty area. Still James, right-footed shot. Cannons off Conor Cody, spins away, and it's a Manchester United corner on their right-hand side.
He took the wrong option there, James. Pinched the ball well, drove into the box. I think he had Martial out on the right-hand side. He just should have fed the ball to him. Got greedy. Daniel James took the shot on it himself. He's behind for a United corner.
Well, Harry Maguire's on the edge of the penalty area. He, I'm sure, will be the furthest man back. Scott McTominay is making a run to the edge of the area. Maguire now at the 6-yard box. The header came in. I think it skimmed off Paul Pogba's head. It was a terrific leap by the Frenchman, but it's well wide, and it rolls harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Well, I wonder why Marcus Rashford didn't take the penalty. Rashford took the penalty in Paris in the Champions League, thundered it into the top corner, did the same last week against Chelsea, but Pogba took the ball, took the responsibility. He's now wiping his face with his shirt and he looks rather disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, we don't know what the instruction was from the United dressing room, but it seems odd, doesn't it? If you have a player full of confidence from the penalties and who's had a good record as of late, why not let him take it?
I dare say Rashford will be on penalty kicks from now on. Let's wait and see. Here's Luke Shaw. Left touchline for Manchester United. He's got Moutinho nibbling away at him unfairly in the end. One little hack too many on towards the ankles of Luke Shaw. Free kick, yard inside from the touchline, halfway inside Wolves territory. Taken quickly by Shaw. That ball was still rolling. John Moss allows play to continue. Little grumble from the Molineux crowd. No, now he's pointing back to have it retaken when the ball had made its way all the way over to Wan-Bissaka on the far side. But we'll try again. Well, that was the fourth official that mentioned that into his ear. Luke Shaw with this free kick. Gets it back from Rashford. Now back with McTominay, number 39 in white numbers on his back. Here's the yellow-booted Lindelof. And he invites Wan-Bissaka into the Wolves half on the right-hand side. 5 Live Sport at Molineux. 1-1 between Wolves and Manchester United. McTominay alert in the centre of the park. Now here's Pogba. He's got Shaw available down the left-hand side. He's heading in his direction. He rolls it left-footed to Shaw, who stands on the ball. The give and go is a good one with Martial, but it's a very strong Adama Traore who dipped a shoulder into Luke Shaw, but eventually concedes the corner.
Yeah, good discipline from Traore to Shaw. He's no slouch. Little give and go, and he stuck to his task well. Traore.
Maguire at the back post. McTominay's there as well. Martial in the centre of the goal. Daniel James offering his support on the corner of the penalty area or thereabouts. And it's going to be a change of corner taker. Marcus Rashford will curl it in with his right foot. Or rather chips it across. And it's Pogba who tries to bring it down. Wan-Bissaka drops to him, puts his right foot through it. And it was high, wide and not particularly handsome.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. He's been really impressive, Wan-Bissaka, but as that ball dropped to him, he 25 yards out, right-hand side of the box. That was the opposite of Ruben Neves.
I've just seen another replay of the penalty save, Chris, and you'll be delighted to hear that Rui Patricio had one foot on the goal line when the penalty kick was struck. So it wouldn't have been any controversy because the PGMOL have said that VAR won't be looking at that new law that's been introduced, one of a plethora of new laws introduced by IFAB during the summer that just happened to coincide with the introduction of VAR in the Premier League. It's kind of been a perfect storm, hasn't it, particularly with the handling the ball by the attacking sides that leads to a goal. We saw it at the Etihad. Wolves fell foul of that, but Patricio had one foot on the line as Paul Pogba struck that ball. Yeah,
I don't understand why the big meal was made over that anyway. It's such an advantage having the penalty in the first place, whether the keeper's on his line or a yard off. The advantage is so much in favour of the penalty taker anyway. It's a nonsense law.
McTominay, right hand side for Manchester United. Daniel James, it cannons off Otto, goes out of play for a throw, probably 10 yards short of the penalty area. United's right hand side. Wan-Bissaka will take it. And on the subject of that handball situation, it was Willy Boly here who scored off his hand. He headed it onto his hand against Manchester City, and the thought at the time was that goal would have been disallowed, even though it was accidental. It wasn't in the law books. That's been put right, but I don't remember any clamour whatsoever for the assist of an accidental handball. Harry Maguire sends the clearance into the United travelling fans on the far side of the ground, and Wolves have a throw-in. How long have we got? We're approaching the half-hour mark in the second half, so the final 15 minutes coming up, and the points very much in the balance. And we're just seeing a conversation on our screens here between Rashford and Pogba as to who would take the penalty kick, and Rashford just slapped Pogba in the chest and said, "Yep, you take it, it's all yours." And it was missed, or rather it was saved brilliantly by Patricio. Adama Traore, right-hand side for Wolves, flicks it with the outside of his right boot. He's looking for Dendoncker. He's dispossessed by McTominay. Lingard can bring the ball into the Wolves half down the left-hand side. He rolls the ball to Marcus Rashford. It's the early cross on towards Daniel James. It's floating harmlessly beyond Patricio and out of play. And Rashford, rather disappointed, is on his knees, climbs slowly to his feet, shirt hanging out at the front of his white shorts, and walks back to his position.
Yeah, the idea was right. The execution was all wrong from Marcus Rashford. Been a bit of a tale of two halves this, though, hasn't it, in terms of the response that Wolves have made in this second half.
Patricio with the goal kick, left-footed diagonally towards the right-hand side for Wolves. Neves nods it only as far as Pogba, but Neves then flicks it back to Connor Cody. It's exchanging of possession at the moment. Wan-Bissaka is forced by Jota back to his goalkeeper David De Gea, and he chips it to the left hand side of the penalty area to Harry Maguire, brings it down with his right foot. The high press is on from Wolves this time. What will Maguire do? He's forced back to De Gea, and João Moutinho will sprint towards the Manchester United goalkeeper, who right-footed sends it out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's pressured by Otto, and it's Lindelof who clips it down the line. It's well played by Manchester United. Daniel James draws the foul from Willy Boly, and I think there's frustration amongst the Wolves fans. I'm not sure there was any need for Willy Boly to make that challenge. Free kick taken quickly down the line towards Martial, but here's Rashford, edge of the area. His shot was blocked by Bennett, spins away. Martial is going to keep it in play. Into the area he goes, and tackled brilliantly by Connor Cody, but Martial has it back. Side of the area now, right-hand side. Daniel James, and his cross is blocked behind for a corner kick. And Pogba, that was his fourth penalty miss in the Premier League since the start of last season. Yep, I think Marcus Rashford is going to have that job.
I think so too, but I have to give Ryan Bennett credit for defending his box really well there. When Rashford, James had made a little run in behind, and Bennett stuck to his task well, blocked the shot.
Corner taken short. Here's Shaw, back to James. Shaw gets it back, and he was looking for the side of the penalty area, but it's blocked out by Wolverhampton Wanderers, who miss out on the opportunity for a counter-attack. Wan-Bissaka wins the ball back for the visitors. Down the line it goes to James. James with the low cross. It's deflected away for a throw-in by Willy Boly, right by the corner flag on Manchester United's right-hand side, and they're just starting to exert more and more pressure on that Wolverhampton Wanderers defence. Throw-in taken to the feet of Martial. Lovely turn, but he's outnumbered there by old gold shirts. And I think he's just tripped. Is it Johnny Otto across there, or Diogo Jota? Free kick to Wolves inside their own penalty area. We have 12 minutes remaining at Molineux, 1-1. Tonight's attendance 31,314, and they've made a lot of noise tonight.
They have, and they're probably thinking, why didn't we start the game this aggressive and with this intensity? Because second half they've been a completely different team. Wolves really have been put United on the back foot.
Patricio sends his free kick down the left-hand side. It's Pogba who climbs, but his header loops backwards behind him. Harry Maguire wins a header. McTominay then above Moutinho, and it falls to the feet of Pogba. Wan-Bissaka plays it down the left-hand touchline. It cannons off a Wolves player, Jimenez, out for a throw-in. Daniel James thinks about taking it, leaves it to Wan-Bissaka. 3,014 of that 31,000 crowd are in the Manchester United section on the far side of the ground. Loose by Lingard. Wolves have a throw 15 yards inside their own half on the left, and it's Nuno Espirito Santo who's out of his technical area, arms folded. Juan Mata is going to come into the game for Manchester United. We'll wait to see who will be replaced. Willy Boly for Wolves. Connor Cody on the edge of his own penalty area, being chased by Martial. He plays it down the right, and it's an excellent header won by Luke Shaw, but then he's muscled off it by Traore. What a turn to get away from McTominay. Traore into the penalty area, right hand side. There's the cross, and it's Lindelof who gets it clear. Electrifying forward play by Adama Traore.
He's been a breath of fresh air in this second half, coming on as a substitute. Just his energy and desires, like a bull there. Rolling McTominay drives into the right hand side of the box and fires a ball across the 6-yard line. It's really disciplined defending from Lindelof, the Swede, and gets the ball to safety.
Juan Mata is on for Jesse Lingard. Wolves take the throw in back to Ryan Bennett on the halfway line. Here's Connor Cody now inside the centre circle. Cody wide to his fellow centre-back Willy Bolly. Now it's Jimenez, who hit the post before the Ruben Neves equaliser. Wan-Bissaka wins the challenge against Johnny Otto. Just a throw into Wolves.
You cannot run Wan-Bissaka.
Wolves back in possession to the goal scorer Neves. He's left that a little short of Bennett, but he gets her just ahead of Rashford. Back to Neves again. Both managers pensively in their technical areas. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down to our left-hand side takes his seat back on the United bench. It's a good challenge by Maguire on Dendoncker, but it breaks to a Wolves player. Dendoncker has it again. Now Traore, he turns back and finds Ryan Bennett. Now Traore tight to the right touchline, a drop of the shoulder. Wonderful balance, flicks it around the outside of Luke Shaw. He's got all the time in the world to pick a cross. To the back post it goes. Here's a chance, the header comes in and it's straight at David De Gea. Well, Adama Traore is playing superbly down this right-hand side. It was Johnny Otto with that header. Quite a way out, it was straight at David De Gea, but Traore made that opportunity all himself.
He did no conviction, no real conviction in the header from Johnny. Wing back that. You can see the idea, trying to head it back across De Gea into the far corner. As Wolves in the ascendancy, can they do damage to Manchester United as they did twice last season here?
Neves sprays it beautifully out to the left-hand side. Now it's Moutinho, and it's patience by the home side with Jimenez, challenged by Pogba, skips away from that, trying to find Dendoncker on the edge of the penalty area. It's behind him and directly through to David De Gea, who sets United away by rolling the ball out to Luke Shaw on the United left-hand side. Marcus Rashford making a sprinting run in behind Ryan Bennett. Shaw decides against the long ball forward, and there was plenty of real estate in behind that Wolverhampton Wanderers back three. But United choosing the patient route down the right-hand side now through Juan Mata for the first time, on for Jesse Lingard. Halfway line, right-hand side, Pogba rolls it to Wan-Bissaka. Pogba gets it back again, the man who missed that crucial, it could be, the crucial penalty kick that would have given United a 2-1 lead. Martial dispossessed 10 yards outside the penalty area by Bolly. Jimenez has the ball on the halfway line. He is crunched by McTominay, but it breaks out to Moutinho. Was that a handball? John Moss says yes. Now, if it's a deliberate handball, then shouldn't that be a yellow card? Wan-Bissaka, yeah, it is a yellow card. Wan-Bissaka is claiming his innocence, but he's the latest man to go into John Moss's book.
Yeah, it's the ball flicked from Moutinho, and he just leans to his left-hand side, hits him on the top of the arm. Actually stopped a Wolves break. Wan-Bissaka.
Wolves have a free kick a yard inside their own half. It looks like Pedro Neto is going to come into them. The Portuguese. Cost over 10 million, almost 11 million from Lazio. 19-year-old midfielder. Free kick taken into that United penalty area. The flick on, Lindelof was beaten in the air, but it's harmlessly through to David De Gea. It was Dendoncker who got his head to the ball, and De Gea throws the ball out to Shaw on the left-hand side. We have 6 minutes remaining here at Molineux on 5 Live Sport. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Manchester United 1. Martial for United in the first half, the 27th minute. A quite spectacular equaliser by Ruben Neves, a curler right into the top corner off the underside of David De Gea's crossbar, and the second half has been far more watchable than the first. Daniel James to the right side of the Wolves penalty area. Wan-Bissaka, his cross is flicked off a Wolves defender, behind for a United corner.
And they're still probing. They have looked a threat. Some of the combinations down that right hand side for United. Can they conjure up one last opportunity? United.
Maguire again at the back post. It goes to the near towards Martial, and he's beaten to it by Raúl Jiménez. A lobbed ball by Wan-Bissaka, but Jimenez wins the ball back for Wolves, and they could be in on a counter-attack down the left-hand side here. Diogo Jota, that's drawn Lindelof across. Left corner of the penalty area. They've got men over on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Dendoncker! and he's chipped it over the crossbar. He was forced wide by the ball. They had two men at the back post there, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and in the end there was no great conviction in that finish, and he failed to trouble David De Gea.
That all came as we see a substitution from Wolves. A really poor corner from Juan Mata. Didn't get it past the first man. Then Wolves are on to Manchester United. They loaded the box, and the ball whipped in from the left-hand side. And then Donker was stretching, leaning back a little bit, and stabbed the ball over the United bar.
Well, the tireless Diogo Jota, that's the first time I've actually seen a substitute go off where he now should do, which is close to the touchline. He's now walking behind in front of the Sajat Hayward stand as Pedro Neto comes into the game for his Wolverhampton Wanderers debut. And if you've had a good game, terrific. You can milk the applause as you walk slowly around the ground as Diogo Jota is doing now. Here come United, closing stages here at Molineux. Wan-Bissaka almost threaded that through towards a sprinting Daniel James. Johnny Otto did excellently to cut out the pass. Wolves have possession on the left touchline through Jimenez. Dendoncker is waving, pointing to Willy Boly to send the ball over the top, but he goes square to Cody, calmly chips it to Adama Traore, but he gives the ball straight to Harry Maguire. Has to be careful because Neto is trying to cut out this back pass, and that forces De Gea to just hoof the ball into the stand, and it's a Wolverhampton Wanderers throw on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it was short, sloppy from Maguire, and Neto nearly onto it. De Gea did the right thing, took no chances.
Approaching the final 3 minutes here at Molineux. Honours even at the moment. Will there be any late drama here to snatch all 3 points? Wolves 0-0 at Leicester on the opening day. This will be 2 points for them. For Manchester United, it will be 4 points out of 6 after their opening day victory over Chelsea. But they were comfortable at half-time, but only a goal in front. Here's Moutinho. Wide it goes to Neto. Side of the penalty area. Into the penalty area. A couple of step-overs. Harry Maguire is there.
Put the ball in. He had the opportunity, Neto. Too fancy. Maguire, timely interception, but Wolves had loaded the box. Real opportunity. No time to be a show pony. Wolves need to be effective.
Gary Flintoff has headed off towards the tunnel area for the post-match interviews that you'll hear here on 5 Live Sport. Crossed by Bennett. Daniel James is fouled as he just flicked the ball past Ruben Neves, who has to be a little careful. He's on a yellow card from a previous foul on Daniel James. John Moss will take no further action. United have a free kick halfway inside their own half. It's a double switch here for Manchester United in the closing stages. This looks very interesting indeed. Mason Greenwood, 17 years old, will come on for Daniel James, who gets booed off after his simulation antics in the first half. So here's Greenwood, and also Andreas Pereira, the Brazilian, who will come in for Marcus Rashford. Pereira started against Chelsea last weekend. He gets a little late run out here.
And Pereira on the left-hand side, Greenwood just narrow off the right-hand side. Last throw of the dice from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
17 years old, Mason Greenwood, and they like him a lot at Old Trafford. Here's the first touch for Pereira, and he spots straight away that the ball is on to the right-hand side to Wan-Bissaka, who brings it down comfortably. Gets it back from Greenwood. No, Greenwood, excuse me, is just loitering around the edge of the penalty area as well. Here's Harry Maguire, striding forward for Manchester United. Into the channel it goes to Anthony Martial. Greenwood's at the back post, but the flag is up on the far side for offside against Martial. Free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, he just goes too early. The flag went up early as Martial. He's got that blistering pace, hasn't he, to get in behind defenders. Hasn't been as much of a threat in this second half. Oh, it's a very, very tight one. Call.
Well, he's clearly on there, Chris, isn't he?
Oh, I think it's very tight. I'm not sure. Touch and go.
Wolves will make their final change in a moment, but the ball is in play. Lindelof, side-footed to Mata. Lovely volleyed ball into the path of Paul Pogba. Wide he goes to Greenwood, who cuts in on his left foot on the right corner of the penalty area. Well defended by Willy Boly. And now Wolves can bring it clear down their left-hand side. Neto sprinting away against Wan-Bissaka and wins his side of throw. And appreciative applause from the home fans. They know how difficult it is against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We've had the 45 minutes and the board will be held aloft momentarily with 4 minutes of added time. In the meantime, Raul Jimenez will be replaced by Patrick Cutrone, a new signing, £23 million from AC Milan. He made his debut at Leicester and he gets another run out here tonight. And a standing ovation for Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, I like Jimenez. Tireless worker. Good focal point he is. Good link man. He's got a yard as well. Question marks when he first came into the team about would he score enough goals. He's been prolific enough, but he's so important to this Wolves team and how they function in forward areas.
21 years old, Cutrone. Scored 3 goals in Serie A for Milan last season. Can he be an instant hero here?
I just wonder, was that a handball from Pogba on the edge of his own box? He wins the free kick. A little shove in the back. They've gotten away with one there.
Into stoppage time then. 5 Live Sport, a hugely watchable second 45 minutes here, but they're level, Manchester United and Wolverhampton Wanderers at 1-1.
If you're a United fan, you'd say a hugely watchable first 45 minutes.
Not so in the second. Wolves have definitely
still
come back
been
into
watchable, but you know, the Pogba penalty miss. They rue that miss from Paul Pogba.
Well, they are so far, but there's still time. Flick forward by Pogba. Here's Juan Mata, lovely control with his left boot, and he kills the ball around towards the back post, but Mason Greenwood was never getting to that one. It's Rui Patricio's in his lime green goalkeeping outfit who slides onto his knees with the ball in his hands.
I know it's not easy coming on as sub, but Matt has been awful. He really has. You know, he's supposed to come on and be a technician, but he's been anything but. I mean, that was a hopeless ball into the box.
Free kicks United in the centre circle, just inside their own half. Mata signed a new 2-year contract during the summer. Well, Wan-Bissaka's gone down to ground very easily there. It's a Wolves throw on the far side. Lindelof with the challenge on Neto. Here come Wolves down the left-hand side. Harry Maguire is across to challenge Neto and to send the ball down that right-hand side, but only as far as Ruben Neves. Instant control, but then he's dispossessed by Greenwood. The attempted ball through to Anthony Martial was not good enough in the end, cut out easily by the Wolves defence. And they will then, in turn, send the ball out of play for United.
It was another pass that you'd expect a player of Mata's quality to make. You know, it was on to slide the ball through to Martial. He hit the defender.
Here's Mata again on the United right. We're into the final minute of stoppage time here at Molineux. A jet black sky above us, the floodlights shining brightly. Is there anything in this in terms of a late winning goal for either side? At the moment it's United in possession. Halfway line, Harry Maguire closed down by Cutrone, rolls it to his fellow centre-back Lindelof, who with a burst of pace approaches the penalty area, rolls it into Pogba. He squares it, Martial is there, Luke Shaw straight at Rui Patricio. That was the chance to win it right in the final minute of stoppage time, and he hit his left-footed shot straight at the goalkeeper.
Oh, what a move from United. Again, really quick, incisive play. They work it well. Pogba rolls his man, puts the ball across. It comes out to Luke Shaw. Was he 14, 15 yards out? Level with Patricio's near post, and he tries to drive the ball into the far corner, and he hits Patricio. It's a bad miss.
And it's the penultimate kick of the match. Patricio sent the goal kick out of play, and it's full time. And straight away the camera focuses on a bewildered and disappointed looking Paul Pogba. It's Rui Patricio with the penalty save from Pogba, and it's the crucial moment in the game. The penalty was won by Pogba. Lovely bit of interplay in the penalty area with Anthony Martial after Ruben Neves had killed in a sumptuous equaliser for Wolves, but Pogba failed to convert from the spot. Final score, Chris, 1-1.
Yeah, and you feel it's 2 points dropped for United with that penalty miss, the miss at the end from Shaw. You think on half-time, Martial going through and treading on the ball. Credit Wolves for their response in the second half. They had to respond because they were hopeless in the first half. A goal Stunning goal from Ruben Neves, but United will feel they should have won this game here tonight.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out in the centre circle, shaking hands with the officials, patting his players on the back. The United players saluting their travelling support, likewise Wolves for their home fans who are applauding their team warmly. Chappers, final score, an entertaining second half. Wolves 1, Manchester United 1.